Hi and welcome. Since I got a lot of questions about the calendar reminder script, I thought, hey, when I wanna do a code analyze video that explains how the script works, how the expire object text file works, and how the calendar CSV file works. As you can see, here's the script, and maybe it's a bit hard to understand if you never have done PowerShell before. So here's the workflow. Basically, it's a PowerShell script that is working with if and else statements. On the left side is the if statement, on the right side is the else. So if this expired object text file exists, we want to delete the file and we want to mail to service box what have been done. And the next time we run the script, we will have an else because this file doesn't exist. So PowerShell checks if the file exists and file does not exist, so we go to else and we want to import our CSV file that contains our objects that we want to monitor, and we want to check if a get expired object string contains any objects. If it doesn't contain any objects, we just go to the node section, and next time we run the script, if we go to the else again. But if we are having some expired objects, we want to create an expired object text file that is populated with information that we need about this object that is going to expire. The information comes from the calendar.csv file, and we want to mail this to our service box so that we can take some actions. So let's take a look on the script now again, on the row 24 to row 35 here, that I'm calling a settings section. I usually create strings when I'm using the same data or the same text and putting them in strings. And you need to change these 5 strings to something that is customized to your environment. It's basically very easy. These are file location. You need to change it where the files are. And this is an SMTP address. You need to change it to something that you have. This is not something that you need to care about, calendar reminder, but maybe you need to change at global local to something else. And you need to change the service mailbox to maybe to a user or maybe to another mailbox that you guys have. And the date trigger is a value that we're going to use. It's an add value to the command get date below here. So this works as, hey script, I want to only take the object that's going to expire in 30 days. Then we need to change here to 30. But I'm going to change back to 15. Let's talk more about the files that we're going to use here. So the files that we're going to work with is a text file and a calendar dates CSV file. The calendar dates CSV file contains all the objects that we want to monitor. So if we want to monitor something else, we just put the date and the text that we need in here. So basically like something like this, something, and I'm just going to copy this row here. I'll just do shade there now, Microsoft on the object name here. Save. Let's take a look on the row 37 to row 46 here. And we are using a if statement. The test path command determines whether all the elements of the path exist, and it returns the value true or false. It returns the value true if all the elements exist and false if they are missing. So this command checks wherever the path stored in string path to expire object file leads to a file. So if test path finds a file, it will remove the item and it will inform us And since I don't have a mail server in the lab, I will just write host here, and I will use the string mail subject and mail body, and the script will display the string's information on the console down below here. Let's just test it. There, we got the notification that object is approaching 15 days before it becomes invalid, and we need to check this file. And if we check this file, we can see that the information comes from the calendar CSV file. If you open the calendar CSV file, you can see it is this object that is going to expire in about 15 days. And if we run the script again, it will check if the string here contains a file, and of course it does, as you guys can see here. And if we remove the file, and it will write the string mail subject and the string mail body in the console below here. As you guys can see, the file is now deleted. Check if the file remains and rerun the script. Now the file is deleted. Great. Now let's go down here to the else. Here is the else statement, and we are using a try and catch block to have some kind of a monitoring of all the codes that we are running here from row 85 to row 51. And what we are trying to do is we're trying to import a CSV file, and we are using a delimiter because it's a delimiter also in the CSV file here. If I have a delimiter like a dot in every place here, I need to change this delimiter to a dot here too. We have an encoding UTF-8, and we're using also the for each object commandlet. Now the for each object commandlet is an operation that it puts every item in the CSV file into a collection. So we are saying in the script, hey PowerShell, we want to import this file, we want to import all the objects in the CSV file, and we want to put these in a collection. So take these column names that you have that are items and put them in the collection. When we have done that, we want to create other variables by using these variables, and we want to link them, and that is why we are using equal to. In row 67 we have a string that we go to populate expiring objects. We call it the string get expired object that is equal to string import CSV. The string import CSV is basically this line, this chunk of code where we're using a where object. So we are saying, hey PowerShell, I want you to take this string import CSV, and we want to filter it by using the expires variable. Now if those variables are less or equal to get date dot add days string days trigger, so basically we say, hey, take out all the objects that are less or equal than today's date, where we have added string days trigger, and that is 15 days. If the string then contains no expiring objects, do nothing. Else we want to generate a file. So this string generate get expired object file is basically the same thing as import CSV string. As you can see, it is basically the same line of code here, and we pipe it to out file. So this row generates our expiring object text file, and we want to mail it to us, and we're saying, hey, an object is approaching string s date trigger. So basically, if we have 30 here, it will say, hey, object is approaching 30 days before it becomes invalid. See expired object. Do not forget to modify the CSV file when you have done your task. And if this row and if this chunk of code fails, we want to have it here. We want to catch it. Now let's start some testing here. The very first part is to see if we got the expired object file. If we have, we need to run the script 2 times. No, we don't. Okay, we have some object in the calendar CSV file. Some object is going to expire in 15 days, 30, 45, 60, 75. So basically, if we change this string to something else, the text file is just going to be bigger and bigger. So let's start. Sorry, wrong file there. Yeah. So if we will do 65, we will have 4 objects in the text file. So first we run the script, and it will tell us that we need to run again because the file had exists since a previous run. Run again, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, this is how we are trying to monitor our files. So if you guys like the video, thumbs up, dislike, thumbs down, write a comment and press on subscribe.